Another horrible accident, police say, brought on by intoxicated driving.
We see fatal car crashes on the local news way too often. But have you noticed you almost never hear about the driver that caused the death and destruction ever again?
Police say the person responsible is a Texas City commissioner who was high behind the wheel.
In July 2017, police told us that Texas City Commissioner Dee Ann Haney was smoking marijuana before she caused a crash that killed a father and his son.
Is there anything you want to say to the folks that you represent within Texas City?
58-year-old Duok Lee and his 33-year-old son Hong had pulled off to the right shoulder on I-45 in Galveston, tightening down a load in their pickup truck. They were sideswiped by Haney's Ford pickup.
You sacrifice for doing that by losing two family members.
I lost my loved one too. They are my brother-in-law and my nephew, and nothing we can do.
Tommy Wynn wants answers. Why has Dee Ann Haney, almost 7 years later, not faced justice?
I don't know what is so special about Haney, Dee Ann, but I know that she is the one that taken away my family member life due to the accident on the I-45.
Mình không có tiếng tăm, không có rành.
Lan Wynn lost her husband and son that night. She has a message for Galveston County District Attorney Jack Rohde.
She's saying is that she wants to tell him that as an attorney he has to have a conscience, because being in a family where you've lost your husband and son, it's a lot of grieving that goes into place.
Her behavior indicates that there may have been marijuana.
Dee Ann Haney was originally charged with 2 counts of intoxicated manslaughter. Charges were later reduced to manslaughter when a subsequent test for marijuana was negative. But has Haney been treated differently because she was a Galveston County public official?
We are not part of, in the political area that where we got the support from a government side to bring this to the justice or bring it to, the daylight.
Haney wasn't just a Texas City commissioner. She's also the daughter of former Texas City Mayor Dee Haney. And there are growing complaints the politically connected in Galveston County seem to get a different kind of justice. Corruption complaints ignored, a politician's trial delayed and delayed.
Do y'all want to have any comment about today's proceedings?
Jack Rohde, he says the Haney case has now been moved to a new court, created to handle the backlog of COVID-era cases. But the accident happened 2.5 years before the COVID outbreak began, and it's been years since the pandemic peaked. Rohde says he's been talking with the family.
I've been spoken to district attorney several times, but there's nothing that they can do for me.
But delaying justice for this family just isn't fair.
Regardless who you are here, it could be Vietnamese, could be Chinese, could be Korean, but I say because her background is in political and somewhat political is in charge or holding this back.
The family's also unhappy that the court documents, they can't be seen online like virtually every other court case in Galveston County.
Public records should be open to public people to view the court process and where the state or what stage of the case it is right now. And there is no reason to seal it beside the very important data that you don't want the public to see. You can seal with it. The court already done that. They seal a lot of different, or they protected, not seal, but they protected.
Who decided to hide the records? This guy, Judge John Ellisor, at the request of Haney's lawyer. And who is Haney's lawyer? Kevin Reckoff, whose law firm donated $500 to Judge Ellisor's campaign just one day before he formally introduced himself to the judge as Haney's lawyer.
Are you actually calling me and asking me to talk to you about what my client told me? Is that a serious question?
Kevin Reckoff didn't like our questions.
It's a horrible thing. What happened is a tragedy, and I'm sorry that their family members were lost. But not every time a life is lost is a criminal act committed.
That's true, and that's why we have juries. The 2018 grand jury indictment accused Haney of driving on the shoulder at an unsafe speed, failing to maintain a single lane, failing to timely apply the brakes or turn her vehicle to avoid collision, and driving after taking the muscle relaxant metaxalone, the sedative zolpidem, and the common allergy medicine pseudoephedrine.
No, she wasn't impaired, and the evidence will show that.
Frustrated, and we want to bring her to the court for the justice. But the best thing is we don't have no say-so in this criminal trial case thing.
And Ms. Haney's looking for justice here too.
Wait till you hear what Dee Ann Haney's lawyer wants us to tell this grief-stricken family.
Since you have contact with them, maybe you can suggest to them, in order not to influence jurors, maybe they could take down the small, decorations that they've cemented into the ground over by the area where their family members met their ends.
Rekoff thinks the family's memorial is somehow tampering with potential jury pools. Family members have kept it alive over the years, even though someone keeps trying to destroy it. Since that 2017 crash, Dee Ann Haney has been involved in 3 other accidents that we know of. This accident on March 17, 2022, according to the DPS report, was her fault again on I-45. Officers wrote that Haney made an unsafe lane change, crashing into the victim's car, pinning it to the center median. That family filed a civil lawsuit claiming significant personal injuries. Haney settled with the victims before trial. The Wynn family has also filed a civil lawsuit against Haney, but that's on hold too. And those documents, they're hidden from public view as well.
And she doesn't have an opinion because she has a language barrier. And also coming over here, she just feels like everything has failed for her. So she doesn't have an opinion.
The next date for the criminal trial is July 17th. We'll see if it actually happens, but there's growing reasons to question the Galveston DA's office these days, especially the way they're treating public officials versus irregular folks. Public corruption cases seem to get lost in a bureaucratic black hole. Or the DA simply refuses to even take legitimate public corruption complaints to the grand jury, as he should. But Landwin should never have had to wait this long to get her justice from the Galveston County DA.
She wants to tell him that as an attorney, he has to have a conscience.